What's up? Bradley Johnson here with a new type of video. Look at this. Someone else, not even me training right now. Setup is a little bit hasty, maybe you could say. And also the elbows could drop a tiny bit. But the first rep, very solid. I like it. I'm happy with the first rep. This is a return to training after a little bit of time. And I thought, yeah, I was happy with that. Look at that. Solid, good depth, nice power. About an 8.5, I'm about right in there. There's probably another rep or maybe 2 in there, so that was the right time to stop. We trained to RPE 9 out here. This is Wednesday now, squats, and we got a bit of shaky knee going on the right leg there. A little bit of internal rotation of that knee, losing a bit of control there, and that is mostly confidence. Confidence. Haven't squat with me in a bit of time, but we're getting back for 2015 to start working this stuff out. So we moved on to Friday, and what we're still working on is that confidence, and there is definitely an improvement, but you can still see a little bit of that shake at the bottom there, and that's just not expecting the bar to go up as much as you should, so your body starts doing other things, in my honest opinion. Moved on to the Saturday workout, which is actually on Sunday, sorry. It's normally on a Saturday. And as you can see, it's horrible footage. I wasn't there, this is in the gym. Some other person is filming it. And what I would notice from that is the toes are pointed out a little bit too much, so I would bring them in a bit more for the narrow stance. I'm gonna do that for next week. And other than that, the depth is good. There's a lot more confidence. We got more reps, happy with this. She felt powerful, good work. So that's a good way to close off the week of squats. That was a nice way to say, yep, worked hard, trained hard, and at the end came out with some good reps, a good RPE, so the weight will move up for next week, which is always what you want, isn't it? Setting up here for bench. This is Monday bench, of course, and again, the first bench with me in a while, and it's me! It's me! What am I doing in this video? Anyway, first bench press, very solid start. Second one, very solid second. So yeah, I'm happy with these. But what I have noticed, it's very small, but I do notice these things, is the pauses are slightly shrinking on the reps. So the first pause was a longer one than the second pause, and third and fourth. What that leads to is, well, what happened on this day. I actually called it that day, as I said to her, yeah, don't make your reps pauses too slow, whatever, your pause is too short, that's the one. And here, you see that? That's borderline a paused bench. The form and the positions are good, but the pauses, I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy, especially this one. That's touch and go to me where I'm from, and a bit of a clip. So yeah, I didn't count those as the reps that were done, and decided to make her do them again. And what she's doing at the moment is she's setting up a little bit too far, with her head too far towards the bar, so she's too close to clipping the pins as she presses up, especially as we're trying to move our bar path, so she rolls the bar more towards her shoulder and drives through there, untucking the elbows as the bench goes on. So a little bit of a thing there to fix in the setup, and just to clean up. And again, here we have the Sunday bench, not recorded by me, you can tell by the lack of quality. But yeah, we've got some bench here, and this is, again, just like the squats, a nice massive improvement. A little bit asymmetric with the bar, sure, but the reps are nice. Yeah, I'm happy with these, good pauses, and yes, she's not even on a setup that she's used to, so that was improved. Much heavier weight, which led on from the heavier weight that she did on Friday. So it went Friday great, Sunday even better. Moved into deadlifts. These are the first deadlifts after being back for a while. A nice initial pull, a slight bit of overextension on the lockout. The second, decent. And the last one, not enough slack being pulled out of that bar there. It's being pulled out of the back a little bit more than it is into the glutes. So underestimating the weight of the bar. Then she did this in a really poor position there, and that highlighted a problem. So I thought to reinforce the slack for Wednesday. And this is probably the best set of deadlifts she's ever done in her life. Slack was strong, positions were tight, glutes and hips were firing forward. Nice lockout. It's pretty perfect, really. Look at that. Pow. Moved into a fourth with some extra pow, and I was happy with them. Go on, do it. Look at that. Pretty good. Definitely a massive improvement there, so I was really happy with that. It led to a massive increase in weight for Friday, and it was a little bit more than maybe she bargained for. I think she slightly underestimated how heavy this thing would be to break the ground, and we had a really slow first initial pull. She didn't realize it would be that heavy, so then kind of wiped out from here. Moves into a second, which was really good, but at this point now she's a bit like, whoa, this is heavier than I thought. And at this point is where it fails. This is where it all goes wrong. Overthinking there. At that point there, she's made the weight heavier than it is, and just impossible to recover from sometimes when you've decided that this weight is heavy as fuck. So at this point here, she's not really got her head in the game for it. And this is a weight that, by my calculation, she should be able to bang out 3 of them for an RP 9/9.5. So I did expect to see 3 reps, but you know, shit happens in the gym. We are not robots. We are not robots. So yeah, because of the violence that was missing from the first rep, it never really worked out at the end. So yeah, it happens. It happens. So I called it as a failure. I told her to stop trying. Move on to Sunday. The camera cuts it short, so you're not going to see all of these, and I'm not going to see all these because the only person that knows what happened really was her and the guy who was filming, or the girl who was filming. Could have been anyone. Or maybe it was just a tripod. Anyway, we moved on to the lats jokers, which are chin-up negatives. I forgot to record them on Monday, so these are actually Wednesday's ones. Well, Wednesday's one. We do 5 minutes of these in the AMRAP, which is not really as many reps as possible, but as much time as possible. So let's call it an AM tap. So yeah, we just want to get the chin-ups working as slowly and negative possible. She can't chin up at the moment, doesn't have that kind of power, but we are working towards it. And normally what I do with people to get them chin up is I just make them lose weight, and that gets them in the sky at the same time as doing this, and it works out really quickly, like in a couple of weeks. But she doesn't want to lose weight because she's too powerful for all that shit. So she's like, I don't want to lose weight. And I'm like, cool, well, it's going to take a little bit longer, but we're just going to pull, and you can see the improvement already. That is a much longer time, much better hang time in the air, and it's just an improvement over what was done on Wednesday. What you're noticing here, you see that bit there where it looks like it's finished? It's not finished. The muscle is still contracting. The elbow is not locked out. And it's really important that you stress this part of the chin up, because that is the only part of the chin up that you're guaranteed to have. The bit right at the end of lockout when you pull. So it's important to create strength there so the muscles know what to do in that position there, because that's where you want to generate most of the power. If you can generate all the power at that bottom position, you'll just be carried up by your momentum to the top. So really focus on that part of the chin up, not as much, well, you know, on all parts, but you know, over the rest of the parts of the chin up there. And that's the second rep there, not as long in the air, but whatever, it was cool. You can see me playing my phone. Actually, it's her phone, I think, over there. Move on to glutes jokers, which are hip thrusts. And she's really good at these. She has power in her glutes. I used to have her doing sumo squats, but sumo squats? No, sumo deadlift. But the way she was sumoing was with a higher hip, and I got to a point where I was like, you know what, your power is actually in your glutes. This is where you are stronger. I'm going to move you over to conventional because I think you will do better there. And so far it's worked out, so I was right, because I'm always right. Comes with being me, it's the curse I have. I do what I can. But these are Mondays, and they were pretty tight. The weight is like 90 kilos at the second. It's pretty heavy, decent. But as you can see, she's leaning a bit far back on the box, and it's a little bit dangerous. So I did move her forward a little bit. But what you want to get is your back, your lats right on the edge of the box that you're doing it on, or bench, or step, or whatever you're using. And you want your heels as close to your ass as possible. Really hook them into your ass so that you can get a nice, big, large range of motion. Get your glutes right up in the sky, nice and high. Look, she's doing it again. She won't learn. Glutes nice up high up in the sky, and get a nice bit of hyperextension, height, and hold at the top to contract the glutes. See, our hold not as high as I want it to be. See, these ones here, the weight's gone up a bit there. These are 95 kilos, before it was 90. And what she's struggling to do is hold it right at the top. She is doing it, but the coordination, because a lot of this is getting the coordination of using multiple muscle groups, well, using this glute muscle group, which is multiple muscles, to there you go. You see that there? That is trying to get it to fire all at the same time. So we want that to fire all at the same time, like bang, so that we can get the deadlift really working. And of course, it will help in the squats, being the prime mover in that movement as well. But yeah, this is just some stuff that I throw in as a joke for her. I think it's perfect to maximize on something which she has as a strength. Moving on to the abs wheel. Now, she is a person that complains of lower back problems. So whenever I hear someone that complains of any problems, I train that thing more. Now, at this point here, what you can see, if you have a keen eye, is that the ab structure is fairly solid in there and coming up, but you can see a tiny bit of a dip in as the lower back bends a tiny bit there. And what that is generated by is a lack of structural integrity and strength to hold it in position. See, there wasn't one on that one, she did better there. This one we move further back a little bit, so you will see it a little bit better. But the second thing that she has is a reluctance to extend at the hip. As you can see, we get to a little point where it's about here, and at that point there, instead of the hip extending, the lower back, the vertebrae extends, and it compromises the strength of the abdominal structure. And then on the way back, you can't really, the ab muscles aren't designed to contract in a movement like that. They're designed to contract and hold isometrically, as opposed to contract moving the body back into alignment. They're not very good at doing that. So once you lose that position, it's very difficult to get it back. Also, note on those lat muscles popping out there. Gains! Anyway, so when you get down to that bottom position, what you got to try and be as solid as a rock, like a building there, so that it doesn't pull it out of you on the way back. We are going to be working on this as time goes back. So what I got her to do is I got her to stretch out as far as she could go. Now, here highlights a problem. She likes to argue, which is good and bad thing with trainees. Some trainees like to argue. I was like, yeah, I wanted you to go all the way to the bottom. That forces the hip to extend. See, the hip's got to extend at the bottom there, right? But then also it highlights the problem muscularly, that's a word, that the ab structure doesn't have the strength to maintain the position. Stop laughing. That position at the bottom there. So what's happening is she's bending. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring her knees closer to the wall to shorten the range of motion and make them a little bit easier. But at the same time, we're gonna try and focus on extending at their hip here, so that she gets used to extending at the hip and keeping the ab structure tight. Because if you allow it to bend, it's next to impossible to fix it once it has bended. And that is really the story there. Extend at the hip, tighten up at the abs. Yes, because what this needs to be is it needs to be a powerful enough structure to allow the drive of the glutes, quads, etc. to transfer weight through and allow the deadlift and the squat to be maximally powerful. There's no good having really strong muscles at the bottom if they can't push through to the top. There you go, that's a week of training. Hope you enjoyed it.